into the future and reporting back to this to all of us quarterly basis, making all departments are doing it properly on time rather than waiting till the last month to get everything. And I think we're all understanding that in the departments now, and our state's been really active in ensure that very clear. So in the future, it's to be here, or we're going to make changes. And go back to this ongoing thing on 72 keeps popping up. We talked about this, we explained it, showed numbers, all of these, not once, not twice, but several times. So it's straight to keep hearing, making these claims. That money goes all the public cities, develop 4 departments, then explained. So we appreciate being here. You want to be every means, so we are. You can hear it over and over again. You do that. But please, not to sleep the leg. Thank you.
Supervisor Anger? Supervisor Sattel? My question is, how is something from a board standpoint need to implement some sort of policy, or is this something we give direction to the CEO for you to implement policy that we don't have this issue coming up down the road?
So in this scenario, as CEO, I had the responsibility to direct department comply with deadlines or the actual service to ensure everybody is coming on time. And this time, the editor himself, we work extension to be able to inject those revenues on time. So, and then timing was this year, this month, last week, it was a deadline to submit those transfers, and we missed that time. The editor himself work extension because the answer was so high. We were talking about $2 million that is outside my authority to approve. So that's the supervisor's responsibility to approve. So this time we did this way, but next year we're going to have those times during the regular board meetings on time. So by deadline, we have accounted for all the upcoming revenue as well as the expenses. And so this is a one-time deal. We're hoping the department and editor and myself will work together along with staff so that we put it to on time.
In other words, closing this means we close books.
We do close books, yes. And this is an effort to close the book with accurate numbers. What it has happened previous year, they made that line and revenue comes in the next year, it has to count it as next year. You really not approving expenditures in the fiscal year the way that you're supposed to approve because you don't have an actual number. The numbers are not accurate because it's a combination to fiscal year. So this is an effort for us to account for all the revenue to a specific year. The year that belongs to not the fiscal next year.
Yeah, I really just appreciate you coming in and recognizing this because it's falls on a larger umbrella of film management that we really need to come up here and make sure that, at a level of our organization, that budgeting and accounting and deadlines are at the top priorities because we're not following the rules and we're not doing things appropriately well.
Mr. Chair, Joe Paul's always under control. I just wanted to add some clarification. It relates to the expenditures and revenues that belong in this last fiscal year. The real issue is time of when they post it. In order to put a budget together, you really need to have as accurate a number of what fund balances are in order to adopt a budget to that where your versus revenues are. And the problem with late posting is that, we all the way to October, sometimes in November, where postings come in that belong in the prior fiscal year, is that you don't have those up-to-date fund balances because the departments didn't accrue that revenue or didn't accrue those expenditures that came in after June 30th in the year. That's really a big issue. Most of the time we catch those situations where come in very, very late into the year end, and it properly being categorized in 25, in prior school year 24-25. But the issue is that you don't have update fund balance information in order to make good decision making for the next budget or 25-6. That's really the issue.
Thank you. Anything for board as far as direction? Do we need to follow up at some point, or just in the hands of CEO and we're going to get things done? We're going to have to happen forward.
Well, as I mentioned, our audit committee, we discussed in report of giving us a report, quarterly, make sure everybody's getting their information on time, or we'll deal with that issue, that department's problem. Future, we're going to up being late, not going to up, I don't know, or step or anything else. We need information can be brought in on time and get our done.
If we schedule a meeting 2 weeks from tomorrow to have another audit committee meeting, discuss those very things, which departments came late with their postings in revenue expenditures, and the audit is going to know about those because it's important that departments know that the audit committee, the county board, the CEO's office, and the auditor office is very serious about ensuring that financial information is accurate and timely. The issue is timeliness. That's been the number one problem with late postings.
So it sounds like we have action through the audit committee, CEO office, there would be you want to certain reports to the board down the road, or is it something?
I just want to clarify on terminology when you're talking about posting. So you have revenue collection. So you have outstanding invoices that have not been paid by others to the county. If we're utilizing ERP system, we're able to see those outstanding costs. If each department is entering in the system, even if it's not posted, you're able to see what they're projecting. And that communication between the department, administration, and the auditor is essential in ensuring the hour is accurate.
That's a very good point to bring. We had a train last week, an emergency train called together by the CO of all the departments, 50 people, department. The train subject is, that we covered. Revenue collections is a kind of module in the ERP system that allows for, if you know that, for example, a claim the state for reimbursement of grant, the expenditures have been done or have been made, and now you get a claim to the state. Well, that's an end of responsibility. Once the claim is created, a rev collections invoice should be made so that the county financial system is aware this is money owed to the county, and it's going to come in. It's going to be coming in this time in the new fiscal year. When it comes in, it's already recorded as revenue and began a receivable. So it's a reverse receivable money.
I just want to make it really clear because it doesn't mean physically have it, because unfortunately, we don't have control always on when people pay us. And I admit, I am not an expert at this. I screwed up big time when I hired account, and I had to explain why a whole bunch of money came in one fiscal year. It was all our prior fiscal year. And I'm like, well, I knew that was coming. Joe Paul said to me, but I didn't. And how I supposed to balance our books? You're not telling me. The communication between department to the auditor and to the CAO is through the ERP system. The spender side, more on that, is going to be about purchase orders, ensuring that you outstanding bills need to be paid and you've numbered funds. Just to get down to that, understanding that may be the way we used to do it, but what is needed and expected. And if we do need to have a policy, I would highly recommend bringing anything that the CAO and the auditor's office feels need to be brought forward to help support this change.
And one of the things that my staff have to get in the auditor's office is on SharePoint, knowledge database, which they have training videos on all aspects associated with operating the ERP system. And so every employee who's in fiscal departments has access to that database and can review, all the information we have on and the videos that are on there, so that they can improve skills associated with, knowing when they need to do the fiscal posting.
Thank you. This is a cool part of our organization functioning. We need to be functioning on the fiscal management side, and so really appreciate it. And on that, if there's anything else, entertain a motion to approve end of year adjustments resolutions to $1.795 million for
So moved.
I'll stand.
In favor, roll call vote.
Supervisor Cosmic?
Yes.
Supervisor Zer?
Yeah.
Supervisor Sotelo? Supervisor Curro?
Yes.
Supervisor Lattis?
Yes.
0, motion passes.
Thank you very much. That would take us to item 23, which is the CAO office approve resolution for 2025 delegating authority to the CAO and auditor jointly approve adjustment under $50,000. Request also includes authorization to retroactively approve additional budget adjustments for 2025. Bill?
And thank you, Auditor, for being here for that item. So the ID for you is for the CAO's office, jointly with Auditor's office, to manage budget adjustments in that are under $50,000 with the option of increased appropriations as regards to amount still required the board. So the adjustment often necessary for reallocated funds or an unexpected expenditure come or grabbing the correct date. So it could be that the corporate budgeted in one and then Auditor's office says the UK audit it needs to come out as one. It's usually it's occurred and the need to the more budget adjustment. So historically, boards approve resolution the budget each year delegating authority jointly for our CO as well as our auditor. However, there's budgeting is the same resolution. Is a different resolution. So currently, only the board has authority to budget adjustments regardless of amount. So we're asking for the board to consider delegating that authority through the resolution. Currently, there's an attached to the item every single budget adjustment that's half of them been ending this and the other half are pending. So there's some forward still need to be adjusted. The 40 came in within the last 2 weeks, and the previous ones have came in right there. So this helps line the process, also including the books and for transparency, accountability, the list of adjustments the department is attached to that for consideration. So we is recommending approve this resolution to delegate authority to our CEO, joint with our auditor's office, approve budget adjustments under the 50,000 mark. And I want to clarify it does include retroactively approving the ones that have already been done. Thank you.
Do you have a public comment?
If you'd like to click on the chamber, please have a speaker on them, please start under the raised icon. I have no public comment.
Back to the board. Would like to start it?
Make a motion to approve.
Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve.
I just had one comment. So I get why we're in this. The only issue I have is the actual descriptions of budget adjustments. What I see on this document is basically just dividends and departments and department as decision makers. I understand the need, the $100,000 resolution, but I also think there needs to be a little more information on what the adjusts are and provided to the board.
Let me part of the conversation we have with the departments doing the transfer. We have 3 line items that need to please explain the reason of the transfer. And in each one of those documents, the reason we bring this to your attention is because resolution did allow the auditor and myself to be to approve those transfers, and were being approved all fiscal year last year. And so we want to have it right so we can accept the transfer have been made already with authorization, and we're fitting the issues we can have accurate numbers in the budget. But every single one of them is reviewed by the auditor myself with a description. What's the reason of such transfer? Because they're in a different account and it should be on to the account. As you recall, all the expenditures, once budget is adopted, the expenditures go to the auditor's office to review if they have the funding available. Whether or not that expenditure issue is sent back to the department, they know that it does belong to the account. It should be this account, and that's what we require to transfer. Because at one point, perhaps the department thought that it's the right account to use, but it's so we transfer funds for the accurate account. That's part of the job of the auditor's office to review every expenditure goes to the right account, and it goes to the wrong account. So that's what we send this. But each one of them, they have full documents describing each one of the transfers. We can actually bring it back to each one so you can see what it's about. But we thought I just put in a spreadsheet. If that's the request, we bring it in.
No, I trust, and we get this move for the sake of budget. I trust to see our leadership. Just think the decision makers ultimately, I would prefer to have them forward more detail provided, just bullet or something, because budget adjustments, there's a reason why the 4/5 vote over $1. And so I did like that extra layer personally of just having the ability to look at these as after fact.
Okay.
To the fact, do trust that you understand these fitted budget. Go ahead, Supervisor.
Paul, know that we've discussed this previously about how can we reduce how many budget adjustments we have to do in, your office. It's amazing what you have to go through to get that for them to be able to make sure that everyone's in the right account or the outside auditors. And we've discussed previously in many of years about ensuring that staff are trained in understanding how to budget appropriately so we don't have to do these, in that ability to go to the source of where these budget adjustments are happening, whether it is from initial budgeting or it's from posting of claims, and ensuring that departments, fiscal staff understand. I know the only way that I was able to work with my individuals were doing my claims in the department was by the procurement process of just source. Because if you budget something, you're attaching a general ledger account to that purchase order and numbering those funds, and you know that they're going to come out of the right one because you pay that claim out of that purchase order, and that ensures you're drawing from the right one. So one of the things we've talked about, and I thought this year we're going to work on this as a county, not just as a test department, ensuring that procuring mitigated costs and buying those in, because one of the things will help. Correct me if I'm wrong, the auditor's office is if you know and the CAO knows where expenditures are earmarked to be pulled from, you can run reports and see if they're not in alignment with the way your outside auditors are expecting postings to be. And the reason I bring this up is to reiterate and bring down for the public and department to understand it's all about communication about what outside auditors. It's really easy to say this is a under services and supplies this way, post it, and I'm putting it under slide. Well, there are a lot of supply codes for a lot of different reasons. If you don't know what those codes are, you may have to journal entry to change it. So I just want the departments to know how important this is so that we can have a better understanding and supports and streamlines what you're doing and what the CAO is doing. So I thank both of you for bringing this forward, and I thank the departments for all of the assistance in moving forward with these type of procurement changes.
So traditionally, CAO has the authority under $50,000 auditor didn't do the resolution. There was no resolution to us. These are expenditures that have already made, and we to approve them, send again to close the books, but also moving forward, needing that resolution timely manner to make sure that we're not doing this again, basically.
That's understanding we develop the resolution. They use traditionally every year we include language addressing CEO, jointly with along with directors us to approve and transparent this and that. So what we cut is we need to cut to the board, record resolution arises and actually fix the issue, because I think the one is to continue to have is with budget. So this request must to be a closed book as well. It's technically the transfer were not allowed. We're not allowed to.
When does this resolution have to be approved each year?
Because at the end,
When did it have to be approved? Is it on the calendar now so that we're...
it has to be approved as soon as it begins next year.
We were briefly thinking about bringing it to the board sooner, so possibly mid-year we would miss some resolution where next year.
Yes.
Well, generally, it should include adopted budget language. Once you adopt a budget, you're also saying CEO auditor have the authority under a specific dollar amount to correct budget allocates. It's not increasing the budget appropriation. Only board can.
Right. Is there any objection to board members receiving more information on the budget adjustments, maybe even if
We can do, and I can suggest that we have our agenda now, an item that is called miscellaneous. So what we can do in a monthly basis or by or quarterly basis, we attach those transfers as information items so the board can review the quarter basis, monthly basis, however you do it, so that it's fully transparent how departments are doing transfer on the budget. The idea is once you adopt budget, you under the impression that the budget is already established. So if something happens in the year that we need to make adjustment, it's done under the transfer under the $50. But we bring you a monthly, so quarterly base as miscellaneous, and you don't have to act. You just have the opportunity to review which one of them is going
that level of transparency,
Yes.
unless there's any other objections?
I'd be told because now kind of internal, this is, it's going to be a little backwards on transfers. The budget, once approved budget, that's this limit. If you want to go above it, then it's the approval board. So this is all within the budget already. It's transfers going back and forth. And it's like categories. I think, again, part of what we had in the past is not doing those exactly or in the right category. That's what they're trying to fix. Because the problem is there's a lot of confusion from us. Because unless you dive into this on a daily basis, you're going to be questioning why. It's almost, I don't want to say a day, but a week process that has happened. If you're there all the time, it's very difficult to understand.
I'm not asking 6 months. Is that 6 months? Is that more information is better? And extra level, just a little bit of budget expense than what I'm seeing here, because I'm seeing here is just department listing $1. And that's not a quick person. I want to like have transparency on specifically what, some of these dollar amounts are $20,000, $48,000, $400. I understand what you're saying. The vast majority are probably just going to be shit of dollars. I just want to know if there's something that I need to ask about, basically. That's all. Other than that, does anyone else any other thoughts? Just entering a motion to delegate to the CEO and auditor jointly budgets for $50,000. So first, we have a
Second.
roll, please.
Supervisor Cosmic,
Yes.
Supervisor Zinger,
Yes.
Supervisor Sitlo, Supervisor Curro,
Yes.
Supervisor Velazquez,
Yes.
5-0 vote, motion passes.
Take us to 2.4, which is resolution acknowledging number 4 special state election proposed amendments to the California Constitution related to redistricting. So Diaz.
Good morning, my chair, board supervisors. So we're here to request your support in adopting a resolution acknowledging the number 4 special statewide election called by the governor of the state legislation. The election will allow voters to decide whether to adopt new congressional district lines. On November 4th, voters across California consider Proposition 50, a legislative refer constitutional amendment. If approved, Proposition 50 will allow the legislature to adopt new congressional map under a Senate Bill 64 using the election from 2026 to 2030. This will temporarily bypass the independent sit-in districting commission and resume its role in 2031. Now, as part of the redistricting effort, the legislature passed a Senate Bill 28, establishing important requirements for county election officials, including here in San Benito County. Specifically, it says that at least one center will be open 10 days before election day, which will be the election office. A second center will be open 4 days before election day. That will be at Oddfellows Hall at 331st Street. And only 3 drop-boxes are mandated on their legislation 28. Those be the county library, San Batista, and the food bank. Now, these box locations were selected based on legal requirements under Senate Bill 50, which the vote's choice. However, we recognize the election office in San Benito County, there is a need to have more drop boxes. And we're expecting ways to be able to increase drop boxes. However, under Senate Bill 2E reimbursement requirement, only mandated expense will be covered at full cost. So we have reached out to the Secretary of State to see if we use other outreach funds to cover the cost of adding additional drop boxes. The state's committed to reimbursing counties for mandated costs for special election. However, given San Diego County current budget deficit, and I know we're trying to work out overall budget, we are going to run streamlined election. What that means the voters is that this special election, it will be a little different than other state elections. We will have 4 hours of operating, limited drop box, fewer workers, and we'll be sending back an outreach effort. Furthermore, in agreement with the county administrative officer, we will front cost of this election from our 25-26 budget. However, this will clear funds that were originally dedicated for the election in 2026 primary. Therefore, election funds will to return to the board of supervisors in January to request a implementation from contingency budget anywhere up to $375,000. Now, to ensure that the election the board of supervisors lift the hiring fees for the elections office. This will allow us to immediately recruit train people, which we're looking at 40 total temporary staff. This includes pollers, election associates, office assistants, and also student interns. Following this meeting, Anna Castro Keys, our chief deputy, we submit the Human Resources Department request to be able to begin recruitment process. Now, we have already taken some proactive steps, printing paper, envelopes, equipment, and contacting our worker. But in order to avoid traditional government delays, we are asking for active participation and partnership between county council, county administration, and HR as well. So, And closing a comment they have, I want to say that due to administrative changes, voters for this election will see some changes when it comes to printed material. For example, for this election, vote guides will be mailed separately from the envelopes and their ballot. By doing this, the count is going to be able to reduce print costs anywhere from 4 to 5%. And finally, in closing remarks, I want to say that although we're running a very streamlined election to ensure that we recoup every single cost based on Bill 80, I do know the voter and their supervisors that we're still having a successful, secure election. However, it is going to be a little different, and it won't have all things that we're accustomed to in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a comment?
I'd like to make comment. Chambers provide a speaker card on Zoom. Press under the hand icon. And James Elliott, Lena.
Thank you. So I have a question. Should the petitions for recall successful, it would also call for real postal election. I would like to know if it would be able to be also on the deadline. Would it, if it's successful, can it be on the special election? Otherwise, would have to be another special election, would be other county costs. Would like to answer that. Thank you.
I have no other comment.
Thank you. Bring it back to board. You want to get started? First here.
Sure. Yeah, I'll start. So just want to clarify. I know you mentioned something about, like, for instance, you said we probably more blocks than the 3 that would be mandated. But I just would be sure we're not going to be doing anything of me on that ain't going to completely coup it.
That's our, and still do anything that's going to be reversed. That would be also South Secretary of State, see if we can use funds to cover expenses. We're waiting to hear about. Part of the reason why we want to have drop boxes is because 40% of all of registered voters boxes. But only if we're not going to reimburse, I can good conscious spending that we do.
I just want to turn on because I completely agree. I mean, I want to be reimbursed as much as I can for this. This is definitely cost the county to not be in my opinion. So,
Further comments? Question?
I have
I'll ask it.
comment. Like, I want to know more than we're going to be reimbursed or what's mandated. And how long will it take to be reimbursed for the cost?
So generally, this is a little bit of a situation. I know the legislature's working on our money there. Generally, we'll see elections over and we audit accounts and we eventually finalize all the costs, which likely to take place around January. By January, I would have sent over my reimbursement request today. And general timeline, 40 days after that. So March, most likely by March, you would have the funds back or sent to the community to reimburse.
We should have the funds back before we're going to need funds in the next election, November 26th. So you have your June election.
Correct.
June election.
So we'll have the funds back. However, beginning December, it's December of this year, we were our expense for the June election. So in my current budget, I'll be able to sustain the first 2 months, but by January, I'll need influx of money in order to pay vendors for the next election. First, we'll start coming in December. In February, have larger translation and their type bills that come that to pay. So they won't have the money for them.
But one comes back in, obviously, you'll
Every
transfer back into.
and I'll have back in the budget.
McCurl?
So just to clarify, this legislation is within the 88-day close.
That is
And so you're already less and behind in 88 because still the law requires 80 days, except for the exception that the legislature has made in calling an election in less than 80 days. And that's typically the first Friday in August, so that everybody kind of has an idea. You're already behind is the point I want to get at. So they're crunching this. They're also saying, I have a rare time with reduction in voter drop boxes. It to me is going to reduce turnout. The simplifying everything, that's really great for cost savings, but you're going to see a drop in voter participation that is going to change how the dynamics of our data is looking. But also, many people are not going to be following them with the classic traditions of Dropbox. They're kind of like the flags that go up, remind people, hey, vote must be happening, but the Dropbox isn't open. So it sounds like the 3, you're going to have one at remark and available.
at the point. So based on Bill 450 was a voter choice. There are key 5 requirements of the Dropbox is essentially required, and what's best in any analysis of that is essentially it's just that the county is putting as a whole. Right now, there are only 3 boxes that essentially meet the requirements. And
has to do with-
home, but it's the food bank and the library.
And that has to do with transportation, walkability, marginalized communities.
Population don't invest often. Also, we also require to have it drops in our other city as well.
So your distant residents that are farther away than those are going to have access like the Romas, Dropbox, like Ridgemar, and like the fire station at Union. So, and you said you're going to reduce outreach. Is there any funding reimbursement for outreach and educating the lack of resources this election so the public is fully aware?
So we did put in a request for our reimbursement request, which exceeds $195,000. We're waiting here if we get all the resources. Within there is going to be a little bit of money for outreach efforts, Willie Builders, communication, social media, advertisement, paid advertisement. However, like men before, best practice with our community partners will be funnel some of that resources into the Dropbox instead. We account that we're 90% of all people vote by mail, and of those, 3% use the Dropboxes. And I think it's more beneficial for voters to have Dropbox. However, it all depends on the Secretary of State. They allow to move them one direction or the other.
I like that. So when it comes to the redistrict measure itself, this is taking effect for the 2028 election, not 2026 election. So it allows you time to do the redistricting, which is huge undertaking for your department. And is the redistricting cost being reimbursed by the state?
At this point, we did include some redistricting costs into this election as well. That is kind of goes tennis one and the other because we are going to have redistricting. So for everyone to understand, ultimately the entire county has different boundary line, whether it be school district or the congressional district, and all of those maps with IS and our internal department have to all be drawn. So an extensive effort. When we're having discussions, we estimate between $125 to $175, including outreach, the reprints of material and formatting, include some of the costs. And the association elections officials are preparing the state to additionally provide more resources for that. But the conversation has to move very further far.
So isn't it just for congressional?
It is for congressional, but affects overall our giving namings or all envelope purchase and equipment materials.
Yeah.
It has larger effects than that.
As larger X, when it comes to the actual, we could go from one congressional district to two.
That's correct.
And that would have a major impact on operations.
I would put anywhere between 30% or 50% increase in overall election costs and material purchases. Our alone
It's huge.
skyrocket.
We've been a very, very lucky county because we've been wholly within one congressional district. And
one state.
one assembly, all of that makes a huge difference in the cost of election. If this redistricting causes it to go to multiple, it's going to increase overall cost and go. And that is not going to be reimbursed to the state. I just want to make sure it's clear and on the record because when we don't have citizen involvement, we're the majority of the legislature and we know what that means for our boundaries. So have fun with this.
Just one final comment, and only due to the growing times that they has provided for us, there's no opportunity to consolidate any other elections with this election itself. So this will be an election. Only we're already behind schedule if you think about it in terms of crew members, purchase equipment. Fortunately enough, our vendors throughout the state already, as we speak, seen the cost of purchasing equipment, material, papers, envelope. So in order to make it successful.
So were there additional action would cost how much?
This election?
No, separate election.
So if it's a countywide election, as a whole, looking anywhere above $500,000, it's a supervisor district or in particular anywhere between 100 and 70,000. It depends on overall how many more items are on ballot.
So it's clear the person brought up the question, one taxes to pay $175,000 6 months in an election.
That is correct. So if it's an additional election to this, it will multiply between January and March, plus the other taxpayers in December, but overall have to pay.
Now, can you clarify that point? You said 175 per supervisor? That
No,
means-
it's 75% per supervisor if it's buying 150 to 170.
Okay.
Costs are continuously changing now. My numbers to flooding change only because the uncertainty is going up the federal government. Their vendors not guaranteeing prices when it's to paper.
Right.
So essentially every month we get a price of things costing.
I just want to make sure it's clear that taxpayers are paying $165,000 for another election that happened just 6 months ago.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any further? I entertain a motion to adopt a resolution acknowledging November 25 action for the amendment to the California Constitution related redistricting, authorize chair to sign, authorize charter, issue agreement, hire onboarding, temporary staff, board elected office sign and conducting, including refer to the second.
Second.
All's in favor, call vote, please.
Supervisor Mickey?
Yes.
Supervisor Zare?
Yes.
Supervisor To? Supervisor Hurrow?
Yes.
Supervisor Lasks?
Yes.
5-0 vote, motion passes.
All right, we'll take a 5-minute break and we'll be back for 2.5.
Recording stopped.
26th meeting with 2.5, which is received this up from Red Hawk Committee approved letter seeker, and Senator Lair requesting funding for one can project and from staff director. We have the loop.
All right, morning, Chair, Board, and members of the Blue Post Minister. We're going to go through an update from the Road Ad Hoc Committee. Been pretty busy, meeting every couple of weeks, sometime more frequent than that, and so I'm going to present recommendations and updates to you now. There's no presentation. We're going to go through the road item, and we'll for Lake Road. If you have missed, we did begin construction on Major Lake Road, and we have completed the resurfacing of the 2 miles adjacent to the county line. And so, doing striping a little bit less. We have some striping there currently. I just clarify some misconceptions on some of the miles of resurfacing that was occurring in the past few weeks. Was in the county and paid for by the county of Benito, not Antigua. So to clarify that a bit for some folks out there. And the major reconstruction portion that's degraded considerably more than 2 miles. That's 2 miles. It's going to be 1.3 miles. And it starts Shore Road, and it connects to a portion that we just completed, and that'll start September the 15th, and that'll go on for a week, and we'll be putting message signs in that yard. So contractors, making sure that the contractors will line up for that work. And so when that occurs, we have to wait a week, and we can do final striping. So that'll take to early October, the final striping, and Freighter Road will be completed, which will be good. So jumping over to Sand Highway, there's approved about $1 million for funding towns for repaying the way adjacent to Anzar High School and San Juan Way, being on Central Calvin's right away end. It goes about 6 of a mile around the frontage of the high school and be constructed road. We need to see the full schedule budget from non-charter, but talking to multiple times are typically scheduled to perform that work. They say early September, but it's going to be early summer. But we'll reach to the high school. We'll have the exact dates so they know. And we'll just be working from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So it'll be during non-loading and unloading times for the high school. But according to the high school, we'll have the actual dates, but that's coming soon in a good way. Okay. Let's jump down Coal Road because I think Numero will have a little more discussions. We'll do Numero perhaps at the end. And so Coal Road, per one of the budget items, was approved on consent. Which is a wonderful thing. We did receive a load of $2.6 million for Coal Road, and now can sign a contract with the contractor and begin work. That's going to take a couple months, maybe less, depending on all they have to build. And so that's very, very news. And Coal Road has been on the county's list of dues for a while, and so that's very encouraging. So now we'll jump over to refresh everybody's memory. We have an approved budget of $3.1 million, which we think is still sufficient. So that's nothing to do. So we probably discuss time at Coal Road a little bit, Bean Road. And so we do an on-call consulting, putting together bid package for Coal Road. And they're going to have it ready next week, September 3rd. And so we have options with to move forward. If the road acts thing going to get better, bids, lower bids, or competitive bid, if we send it to the public to advertise the bid. So that's option 1 versus option 2, which is our border contract on-call contractors proceed with the work. Now, on-call contractors have 6 class A contractors. They're big names, most of them, that we bid essentially with the border contract, hand pack to them, and within 2 weeks they have to give a bid. And then a couple weeks after that, about a month, they start construction. And that means I'll give that schedule versus the schedule for placing it out to bid. So if we use the border contract process, we can essentially award the contract as soon as probably September 17th. I'm trying to be realistic, conservative. Begin work by October 17th. Maybe sooner, maybe not, but let's use this dates for now. If they start in October, and they finish work by December, so I think it's going to take 2 months. So that's the job contract process. We go out to bid, and we bend a few rules with 19 days lead time to board supervise the agendas, agendize, and cause us in a real bit of stress, the grading timelines, but they've always with their items. We could, at the best scenario, ties a bid September 9th. That would have the county council on 1 day to review the contract, and then we post the Friday before the 9th, maybe Thursday. And so we get on the board September 9th. We do 3 bids of 3 so bidding to the public, need at least 20 days to award bids. So we have options. We could go to the next agendized meeting of October 14th for the board to award bid, or we could have a special board meeting on October 1st. So let's do the standard protocols of board agenda meetings that are our agenda. So we award the October 14th at a meeting. Contract has 10 days post or bond. Long story short, they can start November 14th. And then that would for completion date into mid-annual. So essentially, we're losing about a month if we bend the rules and accelerate things with the board and agendize. It's really clean. So best case scenario is mid-January to finish putting that bid, and with just the jock, it would be etc. So, and then obviously we consider when it's constructing, it's raining. If we don't rain, it's great. We can run roll. Our construction things going during the turbines. It's just something to consider. So I'll pause the questions. I'll wait a few questions. Last but not least, our sent out a letter to our political action say we both Rivas on Laird and request to consider allocating $6 million to the A1 Canyon Road project, a road that leads up to a park, top of the hill, and it's a project that was intended to construct. We actually have the plans ready to go, but because of budget straits, we had to put one on the shelf, unfortunately. So sending out a letter to those individuals in assistance to fund the project. And I'll pause there for questions. So thank you.
We have public comment.
If you'd like to make a comment, please have a speaker card and Zoom, press 9 under the hand icon, and Chambers start with a case.
Supervisors. So the proposal to ask legislators in Sacramento million to repave San Juan Canyon Road is so absurd. To be honest, this is a priority for people in this county. It's a personal priority for Supervisors Committee. San Juan Canyon Road dead ends at Vermont Peak Observatory, which according to Freelance News, gets about 1,500 to 2,000 visitors a year. There's a lot of folk living that road, not a lot of driving it. Meanwhile, got arterial roads that thousands of residents, business rely on them daily that are still being poorly patched, unsafe. You know, there's been a claim focusing on tourism is so important to our local economy, and tourism is a priority. Why would you not be making a request for state support to reseek a road? Not only does the road see 50 to 100,000 visitors at the Hoster Hill State Park, it's also to our wineries. People come from over to visit. And third, then you got the Thousand Trail RV Park where visitors come to stage here. Repaving Snicker Loop would improve travel and enhance tourism attractions located along this roadway. This road has been largely ignored while you enter set little traffic and little impact. This isn't playing, and it is about fairness, it's politics. Supervisor Kuzmi wants to deliver a project in his own district to appeal a handful of wealth constituents, pander to voters. Or community, but then there are many greater needs in this community that will need support from Super Rivas and Senator Laird. This kind of request for help should not be squandered. If we're going to ask Sacramento millions, should be a major project that truly add and have a huge impact for all of our residents. Roads, other projects that truly serve the public interest, not political spins. Thank you.
Next, Chambers Lealinas.
Yeah, it would kind of embarrassing to send those letters. I mentioned last time we were here. Riva from the county is here also. The chair should have shown up, talk to him, introduce himself, and tell him, you know, this is I'm interested in, and he knows what's going on in the county. Absolutely. So I do think that going to months with less than 2,000 visitors a year when you got all this traffic on Sienna. So in April of 2024, Ray Benito sent me a text message, and I had speaking with regards to how much money does Hollister Hills pay San Benito County for road maintenance. So I'm wondering, because they do, if Fremont Peak is also a state park, how much do they contribute? But let's go back to the road. On April 30th, under accounting under line item 50.215. In 2022, state contributed, $99,750. In 2023, they contributed $24,937. In 2024, which would have been first quarter, they contributed $60,625. So Reyes knows it's going to have staff look into why were the amounts of money being contributed from the state of California, why was it lower? Like almost $8,000, my rounding it off. So I would suggest that instead of sending a letter out there, do some research and find out how much money the state of California is already contributing to San Benito County with regards to the road, specifically Sienna Road, where that is where you want to concentrate. Supervisor Konecki, you're talking about tourism. Well, that's one of the major tourisms we have, those wineries up there. So please don't send that letter. I think it would be embarrassing for somebody to send that letter out there. And both Senator Laird and Speaker Rivas know exactly the politics that go in here in San Benito County, and to us money or something that would be embarrassing for all of us. Thank you.
Whether on Zoom, been ended in 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is Jackie Lopez, council member of San Benito, speaking on behalf of myself. I just want to thank you for considering Fremont State Park. I also want to point out that as well as the Fremont State Park at the road, there's also the Fremont Peak Observatory, which houses a humongous observatory section for telescope. And I myself been up that road to go to that some of the events there. I don't know where the stats are coming from, but 2,000 visitors a year sounds quite low to me. I've also been up there with my family. When we get the first snow of the season there, and tell you there are hundreds of people that go up there, more than I think that what is being reported. I acknowledge that yes, there are several roads in the county that may lead to tourism, trade, but I think as time, this is a worthwhile project. I don't see this as being political. I think that's furthest thing on the truth. Oftentimes, personally living in District 2 and a lifelong resident of San Juan Bautista, it often felt like we've been kind of on the temple or the list of our needs and wants. So I appreciate this. Thank you very much.
That includes public comment.
Thank you very much. Bring it to the board here with the Hawk. Supervisor Velasquez.
Thank you. Steve, thank you for
Oh,
the
sorry, you have our county call. Want to say something?
Several members of the board. I just, there was to Mr. I would like to clarify, just reassure the board that we will follow all applicable laws and will ensure that these projects are correctly and that they will not subject to any change whatsoever.
Thank you, Supervisor.
sake of this. We're not being ruled. We're making sure we're moving forward at a rapid pace. I appreciate that. I know all meetings help get there. So I want to sure that
I didn't mean rules, legal rules. I mean, we have internal protocols when we adjust things. And there are legalities, there's protocols, I said. So I didn't
And
say
Chair
any
and the
legal
CAO
rules. So I apologize.
of the
It's just gen protocols. All
yeah, no,
the chair, just to clarify again, Chair CAO of the discretion to work with on expedite certain matters that viewed as priorities of the board.
and I just make sure clear because there are those that want to go out and say they're bending rules so we're favorite project and all the nonsense that comes with it. So I want to make we're following every difference in what we're trying to do as an interboard. And that's the board gave direction. Let's go after the roads that have the high use because it community and those that can they don't want to die from fire because people are mad about it. Just makes no sense. The reality of again is that probably the number one place we're going to have a disaster and take lives. Not only is that really important for those that live on it, it's important for fire apparatus up to fire that covers the entire area. So there's a lot of pieces to this conversation of only 12 people. I don't know when I've been up there, but no, I'm up there a few times. Every time I go up there, there's well over 100 people up there enjoying the symptoms. I want you to not some people that are stupid to fix it. It's incredibly important. The next phase we work on is ensure we have evacuation routes or this road that we have our residents out of the safely and working on to get the plans ready for Salinas Road, Benito Road. So they're what they call shovel ready. Because quite frankly, we need the help of our state elected officials to come in and help us with dollars rather than say never ask. We're asking, we help. You have again, Sound Canyon, you have people up there that need a way out in emergency. And we can just say, that's dumb. It's only a few hundred people. Take care to go fix something. We're working on ideas. I think it's more complex, the side issues and so on. But to make sure understands we've been doing what this entire board has and been doing very aggressively. We're following all rules, not ending, not breaking. We're just making sure we get these projects done. As far as the bidding process for union, we talked about this. Can we turn it up by going to a job program? Maybe, but we save there's $1,000 going to bid, which I think our responsibility to do. I think it save money and then use it for this project. So we have a special meeting on October 1st to prove that. So we take 2 more weeks off of that. So it's important. And we've all been very aggressive in what we're doing to get these roads fixed. And I appreciate the help you've given us to get us there. We did a see on track. Again, for those that can call and road stupid or political, I can't believe some would be inconsiderate of those that live in these that are, as we know, the most dangerous areas of a fire route. So it's just unbelievable. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to start by clarifying, in April 2024, this board of supervisors very publicly approved saying a full request to Congressman Zoloff for support assistance to repave Sienna Road because we support tourism, something that we have already done, put in a request for Sienna Road. So thank you very much for that. I do want to clarify with San Juan Canyon. Obviously, in my district, it's also in Supervisor Cole's district. I think it's important to point, as far as I know, there are portions of San Juan Canyon that's also in District 4. And that project, we understand, have a long list of roads to get on. That project has been supported in the past by boards of supervisors. It's been a list as we've gone through all these presentations. This board of supervisors, I supported, Supervisor Tierney when he's on the board, supported Supervisor Curl. I can only believe would support having the road addressed. It is a gem of our community, leads to Fremont Peak. I think it's really offensive. Here are the comments. People are trying to politicize this item for other reasons that they get up and make such insulting comments. People in my district that are the life-saving project that we need to get done. You're on a regular basis from people in the canyon who are extraordinarily concerned about the condition of this road and that this is potentially a major evacuation route, the Salmon Valley, in the event of emergency, a wildfire in particular, an earthquake. It's a very, very important area of our community, culturally speaking, recreationally. And there are more than a few people who live along San Juan Canyon Road. It's really an absurd thing that happens. A few people live on the San Juan Canyon Road. With regard to the request, the intent is to put in, frankly, as far as concerned, we've talked about this, to put formal requests, let's just say for all shovel-ready projects going forward. If hearing back that we're not making enough requests, which I disagree with, by the way, we've been an abundance of requests to our state and federal representatives in the past several years, a whole lot. we're hearing we put in enough of them, so we're putting in shovel-ready project requests, and this is shovel-ready project request has relevance to Twist Park. So I would think that would be addressed. There's, we recognize that Congresswoman Zolofgren may support our efforts to put tourism. So we did enough to request, for instance, help with the Seneca Road project, also putting in federal requests, help with the Seneca Bridge, because of the same reason. So just some misinformation, unfortunately these days, you can pretty much up and say anything I feel like, and nobody calls you on it, especially on social media. They just right lie. We're seeing that here today in our audience. Coal Road. When specifically would you see that project getting started?
So we'll sign the contract there tomorrow with Baker Construction, and then they have 3 days to get their subcontractor materials and things together. They've said they want to build AP, but there's a process to do some behind the scenes. So hopefully 30 days sooner, and they want to build it, season right now. So all good.
On behalf of your own area, again, you don't live in this area, or you're not familiar, which is understandable. I'm not familiar with North County, not as familiar with South County. It's hard to understand the importance of Coal Road. The people live on Coal Road. It's an area that is highly used as they're basically a couple of main thoroughfares in and out of Romas. We're addressing those. We did our Avenue, Enzar, and Coal, and so I do appreciate it. Those again, it's in the same kind of area. We need to have safe roads to get in and out of our community. A lot of people use these areas through traffic, so these roads are really, really bad, and this is a really important road. It has actually been committed doing this road for several years. So again, we'll just repeat the amount of that. Once we make these commitments, it's really important that we follow through, and whether our political change or not, different districts, it's important we stick to our commitments as a community. Union Road, I want to mention that the act did discuss just trying to bring forward, there's just an actual policy as far as if projects that are estimated cost over a certain dollar, whether those would necessitate acquire. I believe Supervisor Velasquez expressed support well, something that would hope that can bring back further discussion at potentially looking at dollar, whether $500,000, $750,000, $1 million. I don't know exactly what dollar it is. I think we have to treat these dollars the purposes that I have, because every counts days. I support going for bidding that project because, yes, we would love to have Union Road done yesterday, but it's a project that potentially very expensive, and I think an extra couple weeks, just ensure we're getting this thing for our bond that would certainly support that. From a broad standpoint, I just want to explain, I've been a huge proponent of bringing these ad hoc, I'd have them more. I think let's back them once a month, like here with my parents. We talks about we've been talking about the board, and certainly disagree, and we can go in a different direction if the board wants to. But the ad hoc recommendations that we had has been strong in this particular environment because the limited amount of dollars we have this year to really focus on projects that are high volume and safety. A lot of course have to be terrible condition because so many of our roads are. So that really has been emphasis to try to really knock out some of the higher volume projects that have been on the list for quite a while that have a safety limit them. And the ad hoc also been a strong recommendation and some concern, so elaborate if you want. Have more openness for exploring varying levels of resourcing, not necessarily always doing full depth reclamation, not to too technical, but basically full paving a road, which comes with more cost. So look at what types of project may be more appropriate for levels of resourcing. Cold place, for instance, can be that cost, I think, correct from 90% the level of a full reclamation, but it could significantly lower costs. And looking at, for instance, brought up just to be as honest as possible about that hoc discussions. Can we more use of the county in-house technology that we have and machine we purchased a couple of years back that was done on Speed Road? Can we look at potentially using that sort of surfing for some of the much lower volume roads, for instance, the residential streets that have higher volume truck that are being those, because we would like to, along with a surfacing of nature, so we can at least some of these get a chunk of these lower volume roads fixed, get a good chunk of the volume, and try to knock out all the high volumes essentially. That's been discussed at the ACT level. We've also discussed, after just from a recommendation standpoint, we knock out some of these thoroughfares, the views, the unions, Fraser Shore, Bowles, One Highway, that we really focus on evacuation routes because we have this $11 million. We get to a chunk of that, particularly for roads if they're poor, emergency evacuation routes, flooding areas won't to flood because fit in those categories that are eligible for that money, and for that to be sort of next year basically not to knock up on those. And so there are a number of opportunities like in South County, for instance, for to fix road. We have in North County, Lover Income Sign that we could potentially use those hormones, and perhaps portion we don't get federal help could be used for areas like One Canyon, Saline Road, where again those evacuation routes. These are the discussion that we've had. And then finally, just want to say that there have been some late, and we're learning from this, and we're going to move forward as speeding as we possible. I think we're on the right track here. And Steve, and with consultants' help, I think having for policies from the board, as far as, again, what project we go for meetings, so it's a great area for Steve not have as much better. And for me, big recommendation aside from following around what we started this summer is that really look at categorizing different roads in certain areas, what would be most appropriate of surfing, so we knock out most roads as possible. That's all I have to say. Anything further?
Board thing. I just one road evacuation road that the King City Bitterwater that we talked about.
And so representation, if there's, I'm hearing any further, we had a presentation. But ad hoc. Oh, so sorry, apologize. Usually I'm live. Go ahead, Supervisor. Supervisor Tello.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. If the road ALC, if you feel strongly about it out today, I totally support that. I've got a couple of questions with regards to that, doing special board meeting. October 1st is Wednesday. Do you mean October 1st or are we looking at September 30th?
September 30th, we have to give the contractors leave through.
Okay, you are at October 1st.
October 1st or after.
Or whenever. Okay, gotcha. I wasn't too sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Supervisor Cosmic, you just mentioned the Hawk Committee working with Steve and the consultant. I'm just curious, who is the consultant?
Kim Horn.
Kim Lee Horn. Okay, fantastic. I just wasn't sure who that working that. I really appreciate kind of looking at things into that categorical and how bad the road, how many users are using it. I beg proponent of refocusing kind of our trail. I love the direction you're going to move with. Really proactive on emergent response evacuation routes. I think it is. I really support that. I am not supportive of sending a letter to Speaker West or Senator Laird for the road project from Canyon. I support Sand Canyon, but I think I look things a little bit differently. That I don't think should sending letters for every single item. I think as a board we'd be somewhat selective. If send it for everything, I'm afraid that we may not get anything, and I would like to. I guess we have a conversation with Davis and Laird and Congressman Lofton and see what are the areas maybe that would potentially be supportive, not sending a lot of step timings of that, and sending projects that are not really aligned with their kind of priority, even though get the priority. But I mean, I look at it and I think, oh gosh, we're having discussions about library and the future of library not having enough funding. The regional park, we need there's money that we need to support these projects that could really benefit the community. I mean, the library is it's vital and necessary, and so I'd like a little bit further investigation as far as what we're going to setting letters for. So also, like as we kind of did earlier in the year, our priorities. I'm really kind of prioritizing, saying it not on the list, but would like a little more dialogue and conversation around which project should we be asking for their report on. We do have several shovel ready. We'll agree with you on that, and I think we just need to be really careful because we're going to get funding for all of it. And so, and I think have that we potentially or we don't have any for any of them. So how to make these things happen? How do we do more for this community? Was a comment made about the commitments, and we have to stick them, and I appreciate that, but I feel it only matter when it's something that is important when individual person, because what about all the commitments made to this community? Our funding, there was a ton of community projects and a complete wiped of those, and we're not doing any, we don't have funding, but we're continuing roads. And so I appreciate the sentiment, but I think we have to be consistent when we're going comments like that. It's for kind of everything, not a thing that we individually support. But I think commitment we made on our some of those community projects, particularly when it comes to tourism and the different thing, have a large impact on community as a whole. And so those are my comments. So I'm not supporting sending a letter to Laird this time. Thank you.
Supervisor Anger?
Thank you. I have a few questions, some specifics as far as roads come up, but I'll tell you right off the bat. Fine, but not a bit versus a talk for union. That's good with me. I like during the emergency routes. I love Lincoln and immediately Atlantic is would perfect for something like that. I hope so. I'm very sure of that, and obviously some county roads. I don't know the area what I'm sure is good to see roads there that we had used before. Did have questions. I just pulled up the attachment road improvement schedule. On it, I know it's in general, just 5 to 6. So as far as things like Fairview Road, I know there's a couple sections that I'm at. There's the Equipay to Fallon area section, and there's also the blue section north of Hillcrest.
There's St. Peter Lane.
St. Peter Loop, but is the north of Hillcrest? Is there a section there, a small section that needs to be done?
The intersection with Hillcrest?
Well, if you're intersection heading north Fairview.
Yeah. So what we've decided as a team in the board, when the Santa Ranch has a commercial developer boarded, their requirement will be to complete the area that you're describing there as county assembly. It does need work, but we'll have the developer have a commercial anchor on board. We'll have them repair part of it.
You don't have anyone interested yet? I mean, be familiar.
Honestly, they do, but I think we wait till the officials, middles, anchor, but was a name floated. They have some installed.
Okay.
In a way.
And I just want to share if they sign the person are going to show up. We want to make that the road gets done early on in the process of them coming here. Okay.
Yep.
And then the other section then, Equibase and to Fallon or
about Fallon. A mile road, huh?
That's what are we looking at?
So it's going to be as if we funds come in because we're going to be using, the allocation for Coal Road. And then as we built that, it is $8,000. We roughly 2.6 million a year. So to answer your question, based on the payment we've received from the state, we might be able to reach that 100,000 sometime summer, May, July. If we get all the payments, it's based on the gas tax and the vehicle license fee. So So yes, it'll stay on the list. It's just a matter of those FD1 funds come in, we'll be able to pair that mile referring.
So some are depending on fund.
Yeah, I do generally 250 to state. And so it's built that fund, and we have to wait till the funds in, and when they do, they'll pair that SEGRO.
Okay, great. And then I saw the other segment by Stanley Loop to Lupus.
It's most of a crack deal. It's not in bad shape, actually, so we just fill cracks, and it might be, we designated for 15,000. It might be how, we'll see, but it's kind of a crack seal type of project to just be fit with our funding. So
When do we need that?
that will come after the SEG on fair, which means, let's just say, hypothetically, the funding for state, let's see, so then December, October, so maybe the end of next summer, we get, one or two payments from state, we do that sealing fair. After we'll do the piece on review for this based on first, and then after with the Ludus. So, yeah, I'll get to
Summer, fall next year.
Yes,
ideally.
that's correct.
Okay. The road, I saw Clocky, I think it was Measure U fund, right?
Those are design funds. We're going to look at Clocky, and we're trying to design Benito Street, and we apply various grants for that intersection. To answer those, the 100,000, that's design. These were the designs of shovel, basically.
So when we're looking at having it ready and on the road?
So because I need to be not predicting, and so when the big package from consultants, I'll answer the question. That can be January with a big package. Again, that's one of the fun for it. It'll be shovel ready at the point. So, and if we have funds some way, it'll be great. A shovel ready project. And
so currently there's no funding, so there's no line now.
That's correct. It's a design. That's correct.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, I think last specific road I question on the Fallon Fairview traffic signal. What's the status? What's the latest with that?
Good news is that we received 90% plans are consistent. And so now we're coordinating with PG, who's going to be coordinating the communication folks. Long story short, if everything ends up and put a bit in the spring, begin work on it, but get PG, relocate some holes and things. So again, I receive a bid package, I'll provide a better timeline for it. That's the general timeline.
You spring?
I believe we could put a bit of spring, but predicated on some poles being located, which very hard to predict. So I'll just let that. But, yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Hey, Steve, can you explain to me from the projects that are listed online and from the 5-year plan that was created by prior boards, were projects like M1 Canyon funded?
Don't believe Sam King specifically was a 5 plan to answer your question.
Not areas was.
It was on CIP?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I agree. Thank you.
Okay.
Because it was on the list. It was funded.
It's funded?
It was funded. That's my understanding when it came on board.
$28 million that we made. $28 million the board cobbled together various sources of money, was spent. It's problematic with our budget situation, but in time, yes, there's an expectation to fund Sam Canyon.
There was, but we're talking now. There's a curve in the CIP list. You're talking about 20 million that the Supervisors came up. So that's two different things.
Okay. Good to know it's two different things. What I'm trying to get at is what has been removed from, because I've heard the ad hoc speak about, you've made a couple of comments that we've made a decision. Well, have we removed from road projects that were previously on our project list and funded by me that my understanding is allocated by prior board members?
So I'll send two, because there's the funding and there's the list. Funding, I'll start with the list. So as of this budget time, we were told Public Works they have X amount of dollars to use for roads. We came to the board on, it was June 29th, or it might have been a previous meeting, and we said this amount of dollars, this is the list. And to your question, was removed from list was Sam Canyon, Sods and Trios, and me, maybe third project, but I'm pretty sure those two were removed from list to budgets that we were given about a month and a half ago. So.
And that was a decision made by the board?
That was, when we came, the budget ad hoc said, okay, folks, you this amount of money, and we came to this board and said, okay, if we have some amount of money, we have 11 million originally. We said we fund these projects and provide that list. We did say we were moving projects, but they were off the list. I don't know if that.
Okay, so basically, things that have been on the list, Tradinos, Sam Canyon,
Correct.
are not funded on the list now, and it was 100% transparent. They were being removed. They just didn't get funded.
Well,
Because not removed from the list. They're still on the list.
Right, just don't have funding.
They just don't have
That's the part of your question.
So I want to make sure that it's on record right now. We have projects that have been removed from the list that we openly discussed at the board level to remove and have a discussion. So I'm a little shocked about this one can ask for our shovel-ready project. And when I made that comment from from the business council meeting, it was about community coming together and being behind the shovel-ready project that impact our community and help our community. They made it very clear in all meetings I've been at, they're not going to fund our road maintenance.
Okay.
They've made that very clear. Talk about funding community behind and the board behind the regional park, which can connect to with someone beast, connecting potentially with Trace Munoz, to bring our community together. That community-based shovel-ready project and vision that this board got behind, I think we could get support from our representatives. When it comes to the library, it's another project. It's a community-based project, impacts our residents. Unfortunately, it's not helping San Batista, but the library impacts a lot of our residents and is what we're trying to make a shovel-ready project and have that a community-supported project that the board could get behind. I am part of San Juan Canyon, and I feel like I'm put in a very awkward position because I'm having to choose and say things that I want to say to my San Juan Canyon residents. That for the last 3 years, I've been doing the evacuation with them. For every year, I've been doing it with them, coming down off the mountain, ensuring that they have a path coming through private and public areas, they can get off of the hill. I've done it for 3 years. That's the most fire-wise, fire council, well-organized community that I've ever seen. And I totally agree that it's a fire issue if they don't have a decent road. The problem is we talk as an ad hoc about ensuring that we have impact on the majority and main arteries of our community. And going this for a non-main artery and it bears our economic impact. Is this going to open tax dollars to come to our community? Sienna, which has been on those for so many years, almost truly the joke when I have to talk to the individuals who live on Cienega and have businesses on Cienega. Because what look at is they say, you're saying next year, you're saying next year, you're saying next year, and it's happening. And I see it happening because we're not talking about the impact of loss of Cienega and how much that's going to cost. Yes, we asked for over $9 million from Congressman Zoe Lockhart. We were awarded in earmarks $100,000. And the current administration pulled all those earmarks. We have zero money come in. We've submitted our request, but that doesn't mean we're going to get any money and see us get any money from the federal government. We have to look at what are, I totally agree with the ad hoc, we have to look at roads that are high volume, high traffic, high safety, but also should include economic vitality. Where do taxpayer dollars come in and tax them in for our community and our residents? We have winemakers that are going to other counties to sell their wine and know their kids are getting tax dollars. We're going to decrease our sales tax. So if we're not investing in roads that bring people to our industries, that are tax based without impacting our residents, all we're doing is investing in a road that is going to help a very important part of the community, but it's not a major artery. And it's kind of like saying two different things. We're going to go to a legislative representative and ask them to fund a road that's up to a state park. It has between 1,000 and 1,500 2,000 residents that go there. But we have a Hollister Hills Park that impacts our road regularly, that we can't get them to put a fee on those vehicles. Can't get them to put a fee because they do for us, they do it for other communities. But we're asking not to fit the Cienega road that could help us economically and our tourism goals. We're going to put it on San Juan Canyon. I'm having a really hard time with this. The other thing is, I'm sorry, life safety, talk about life safety. What's the number one thing last year in the winter on Union Road that everybody complained about? You can see it. Couldn't see the road, couldn't see the lanes, you couldn't see any of it. At one point, we were fun just striping it for city purposes. And we pulled that back because you said, we're going to get this done before the next year. Now we're looking at how much money we're going to save between the job program and awarding it, getting it now versus the going to bid. I completely support ensuring that we're getting the roads and best thing for our dollar with going out to bid. We have to weigh life safety. And I feel like we've lost touch with the fact that Union Road is a major artery in this community. Now 156 have been widened. There are more people coming on Union Road than ever before. And that's not considered a main artery as opposed to San Juan Canyon. I'm sorry to every one of my San Juan Canyon residents. I fought to get you fund. It was funded by private board, and now that money's been pulled. I don't feel that been transparent. It's like at Trapino's. Trapino's fully funded on the road, and now that funding has been pulled. So it's amazing how now it's all about arteries and making sure they're getting the community that we need covered, life safety. And we're talking about potential life safety on Bitterwater City, on Poach. But I will tell you right now, those are long-term projects we're going to have to advocate for at the state and national level. Not going to happen before we start losing lives. And so I'm struggling right now with saying, I'm not going to pour a letter to our representative to try and get funding for a road that included my area. I have a really hard time. The reason why I would have that. Highway 25 is a main concern for this community. All of the main arteries are concerned for this community. Can we look at this San Juan Canyon project differently and ensure to get the pothole repaired and make it more safe, but may not refurbish the whole thing? So what are we talking about? I mean, you're talking about $6 million?
Yeah, it was pretty much the budget, like you said, because the budget constraints, the fee was pulled. So it's much what we've talked about.
Okay.
6.5 million.
Okay, so it comes down to and know that my colleagues are not going to agree with me, but an RFP matter, we've delayed year after year. We talk about Union Road, and even here on the list it said summer of 25, it was the update, and we were not going to make summer 25. We're going to make winter if lucky of 25, and if weather isn't good, we're going to do construction in winter. I don't see how that's going to have other delays. It's going to cost increase the timeline for project and the cost project. So I recommend that we go job program, get it going now, and show residents that we are committed and united behind something that will make our community safer, and it's a major area of our residents. Cienega, I don't even know what to say. I am sorry to everyone of my residents that I promised that there would be it's not even a topic for the ad hoc. It's a major economic artery for tourism and for our community. If we want to do a recommendation to legislative representative, I get behind Cienega because of Holler Hills, because we're not getting our fair share of the impact of that state park. Large impacts for all residents we discuss. I already reiterated, need to do them, but we also need to be doing is make sure that the roads are safe for travel. Pico Pass is not Chico Pass. Pinoch is always an area in the winter it's going to be a problem. You and your team have been in South County, well, your team is County Water and King Road, King City Road. And you guys filled all of the pots. I thank yous from residents. In 1 week, holes were back. Different holes, they're back. And so we have we're constantly sending people down, but we're recognizing as these are arteries for our residents and get you main highways 101. And because we're looking at life safety, so I'm happy to hear this ad is looking at the life safety side. That pipe dream, if we're united behind it, and I will not support going out bid onion because I think a life is worth $100,000. If it's $100,000 more, get it 1 month earlier and beat the weather, a life is $100,000. And when it comes to Sam Ken, I think another option other than asking our representatives money, because if we will not get them for that. What is our contingency plan? Our contingency plan should be the road passable in the best possible way with the doors that we have. If that means filling poles, then we need to fill poles. I know of a lot more, and there's so many roads that I have not mentioned. It saddened me that we're not looking at this and having the ad hoc. I appreciate everything the ad hoc has been. They've been working hard, coming forward and saying that this is what we're doing instead of laying options from ad hoc to board take decisions. I just feel it transparent enough for the community, and having both Trevino and San can removed from the budget and having it transparent enough. In my opinion, I'm sorry, I didn't hear they were removing roads. I just thought it was additional funding for this school year that we prior funding already on San and on Spain. Those projects that were budgeted each year, and money should. And this is where fiscal mirror is coming from, because not rolling things over as it costs. And so here we are. So I will stop and just basically say I'm not supporting letter. I support San Juan Canyon for an act from representatives, and I only support the program moving forward.
Thank you very much. Can I ask to start Sienna Road? When would that be shovel ready? Because that's the criteria that we've understood that if we're going to go to our representatives, it needs to shovel ready.
So the budget, as I mentioned, we had $800,000 removed by the government. The budget we has $1.7 million, and so it's over a mile road. The problem is we have this large wall/bridge needs to be constructed, and that's the designers are going to conform with the geotech is how we construct that. So where we're at is there's been 2 meetings with geotech in the last month to try to come up with a affordable design on curve. That's how some way we can take that $1 million budget, and so that's where we're at. We're trying to accomplish that. And just for accuracy, there's 6 projects on Cienega designated in that people. 5 of 6 have been completed. This mile is not, and so as for us as everybody else, 1.7 million. It's a large wall, and it's going to be tricky. Before the funding was built, we had about 2.5 million, which gave us $800,000 plus from this to build the wall. So we have to with the designers come up with geotech, and when we have that package, then I'll answer your question.
So it's already could, because I would support it. We already supported personal off, as persons, but I certainly would support asking of Sienna. Nobody we ever said wouldn't support Sienna. It's just not shovel ready, and once it's shovel ready, we certainly can bring that back. And certainly think there'd be support for that. As far as this idea of pulling money, this is a lot of misnomer. We have limited amount of money in our budget. In fact, this someone is a $7 million project. This board, one of our ways to support roads, this majority did, and so we're going to still allocate, ironically, $7 million in discretionary dollars to roads. That's the dollars that we basically have to work with on for the most part. Super up here supported that $7 million. It sounds like Susan Curl wants a lot of roads to fix, but she doesn't want to support the thing to fix the roads. So when you 3 supervisors that actually support funding, that allowance to get some of the roads fixed, and then you have supervisors who don't support the road funding, and then all of roads. It doesn't make any sense. And as far as Union Road, we went back and forth on Union Road as far as whether to do RP or what to do the dock. And there was against to it. And I'd be willing, and I would be willing to support doing the job if we're talking about a relatively limited amount of $10, and there's a real slight chance of get done for the rainy season because we be taking like gamble number. And so, I agree. I think all of us have supported union. It was, as far as the recommendation goes, that's why we're here. We're bringing these things to the board. And the recommendation was, I think, not to change policy going forward. The release was if it goes over some dollar amount, we've got to go out RFP. If there's a recognition in this moment that enough's enough, we got to get Union Road done, and the best way to do that is through the dock program. They're willing to listen, but we're basically talking about saving a month, right?
Save about a month, and see hopes.
And how much money could we potentially be theoretically looking out on?
That's really difficult. We have the bids from Jockton and the bids. Until we reach bids, I predict contractors' savings or not savings. I want to predict. I will say that going out bid to the book is a very likely we'll get better bids, better numbers, lower bids because they're competing. Right? The job is these on folks. They fix price of things, but I'll just hit that. And like I will start going on Jock. This is my suggestion in that regard. We release it to. So the way it works, reach out to the contractors. Say, do you have bandwidth for the next 3 months to build this project, Union Road? And we find that says, yes, we have bandwidth, we grab asphalt, the etc. Maybe it's two, we go one by we see you have the bandwidth. Okay, here's the package, give us your number. If for whatever reason we're 3.4 or more than that, it's real easy. If I'm at 3.4, then for safety reasons, the board decides to move forward. We just move forward with the job process. Understand those and cons, and no, I'll just leave it. I don't want to pick the savings. There were some savings going on in public adverse job, but I can't predict that savings.
The benefit is having an extra month.
Correct.
We're going to start it
correct
in November.
Correct.
Are we going to start in November?
So hand it just with schedule. We hand the job program. They have 6 to bid. Bring it to us. So I'm in the bandwidth. So we say, can you start this? We're going to do this project for being. Can you start this in a month? If they say yes, then yes is the answer. So
there's 100% assurance. I just don't, because we went through it before we gates and things get pushed off.